Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to ParaMystic Podcast. I'm your host, Kristina Bloom. And today we do have a special guest today that's coming in. She's a wonderful lady named Teresa Randolph. We'll bring her up in a minute. I just wanted to let you know that I will be at the Great Lakes Paranormal Conference in Berlin, Wisconsin, September 11th through 13th. And then I will be at the Mid-Pennsylvania Paracon and MonsterCon, I believe it's called, and that's in Johnstown, Pennsylvania, and that's at the end of September. So got some really fun stuff coming up. I'm super excited about it. I can't believe we are already almost in September. It's kind of crazy. I just want to let everyone know I'm doing pretty well. My health is getting better. My energy is getting better. So I'm excited to start participating in events again. Not every weekend like I was, but participating in some events. So I'm super excited about that. And I have the most wonderful lady coming on. Let's bring up Teresa Randolph. She is a holistic healer, both traditionally native trained and also has school training, and she's a therapist. And it just has some wonderful information to share with us. Hi, Teresa. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm feeling good. It's
You
good to
looking
have you
good,
here.
hon.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Getting some
Yeah.
energy back.
Oh,
Yay.
that's awesome.
And I'm glad that we are talking today because my nose and my eyes will not quit running. Thank
Uh-oh.
you, seasonal allergies. So
Uh-oh.
let's start with that one after you tell us what you've been up to.
It's been a whirlwind of a summer as usual.
Yeah.
So between the foraging and gardens and then clients that come through, it's busy. It's a busy time of year. So, but different busy. I enjoy it. So I love to be in
Excellent.
the woods and yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, at some point we're going to talk about foraging because I think a lot of people don't really understand what it is. So,
Oh, okay.
so we will get to that. I know that we were going to talk about, different diseases, different things that affect us, and what we can do about those things. So, let's hear about it. You've got so much information. Like I could just sit here and not say a word for the next hour, and you could fill all of it with information and more. So,
Yeah,
um,
I tend to carry on. Excuse
I
me.
love that. I love
Yeah.
that. So let's start with seasonal allergies. What can people do
Mm.
with seasonal
Seasonal
allergies?
allergies can be resolved very quickly with stinging nettle, and you can get like either an extract, an oil, or just the pill. And that'll help to dry the sinuses up and help you to adjust to the seasonal allergies. So will something called Solidago. That helps a lot. It's actually, excuse me, goldenrod. See, I got a little frog in my throat too. We got
Yeah.
fog here and it's wet. But anyhow, Solidago, it's goldenrod. And most people
Okay.
think they're allergic to goldenrod, but what it is it's actually a decongestant. And so when you go around if you have any kind of congestion in you, it'll cause that to run and flow. And that's another good one.
Okay.
Yeah, it's excellent for this time of year.
Excellent.
Yay. Well, um, we talked about talking the talking about stress and toxins in our system that can cause a lot of health issues. Excuse me. And the health, different health issues with when you have consistent stress, what it does is it causes you to have too much cortisol in your system. And it's not just a matter of to help your system, it's not just a matter of getting that cortisol out of your system, it's a matter of regulating your cortisol because your cortisol comes from um, a reaction in your brain that goes from your hypothalamus to your pituitary to your adrenal glands. There's your hypothalamus sets off a hormone when you're in stress and it sends that to the pituitary, and then the pituitary creates another hormone on its own and sends that to the adrenal glands. And then of course the adrenal glands is a flight or fight action that you
Right.
take. So when you end up in a lot of stress that's continuous or chronic, even if it's a pulsing thing, it dysregulates that harmony, if you will, between the three glands in your limbic system. Okay. And when it dysregulates that, it dysregulates your cortisol, because cortisol isn't necessarily a bad thing. You need it for those, for certain times. Anyhow, if you have anything in abundance is, can hurt you. But anyhow, cortisol, what'll happen is you'll end up having brain fog. You'll be exhausted no matter what you do. You'll gain a lot of belly fat. You'll gain fat in other ways too, but mainly the belly fat. And you'll have all kinds of like hair issues and skin issues, things like that. It shows up in different people in different ways just because everybody's system is different. So the continued stress, what it can do is it can lead to more serious illnesses such as lupus, chronic other issues. You can have low back issues. You can have chronic fatigue, all that kind of stuff. And there's much, much more. Would you like to know the fixes?
That would be probably optimal. Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's my biggest pet peeve. People come on different sites and they'll talk about all the things that are wrong, but they won't give you any fixes to it. And it's like, wait, why talk about it? Let's fix it.
Yeah, let's fix it.
Yeah. Okay. So different things to fix it. Okay. So your hypothalamus, that's okay. How do I, okay. Your pituitary gland is considered the master gland in your limbic system. The
Okay.
hypothalamus is actually the one that controls your limbic system when it releases different hormones. It controls your appetite, your sleep, your emotions, your mood, all that stuff. But it just sends different hormones to the pituitary, and then the pituitary scatters it out, different hormones throughout your body that is being signaled that you need. Okay. So to regulate all of this, there's different, you can do it with exercise or somatic exercise if you're not one to vigorously exercise. And I think once they somatic exercise, it works them up to more vigorous exercise or even good walking, you know what I mean? A nice walking pace. So that's one good one. Another one is herbs, and the different herbs that you can use to control, or not really control, but get it back into a nice rhythm as far as your hypothalamus, your pituitary, and your adrenal glands. And the different herbs that you can use, one is ashwagandha. It lowers the cortisol and helps process things. And so when you're lowering the cortisol, you're going to automatically be able to get better sleep. You're not going to be anxious, because a lot of people, when they have high cortisol, they have anxiety issues, like terrible, terrible anxiety issues. And a lot of the issues that go with high cortisol are treated as individual situations. Like somebody, for example, somebody with, high anxiety, they may not realize they have high cortisol because their limbic system is dysregulated. Okay.
Okay.
So, yep. And so instead they're taking a prescription or even an herb for anxiety, when actually they need an herb to decrease that cortisol and get your limbic system back in harmony.
Okay. So ashwagandha, are there any others?
Yes. Rhodiola.
Okay.
Yep. That helps the body to stop overreacting to the stress. So even if there is stressors about, it helps your body to handle that stress a lot better. So you're not over stressing, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
I love rhodiola. It's very, very good thing. Then the next one is L-theanine, and that's an amino acid, and that helps you to basically calm down, and it helps the nervous system to regulate itself a lot better as well. They go hand in hand very well. The next one is how I'm reading because this is a weird one. Inositol. Anyhow, it's a big name. Ha, ha, ha. That one actually it helps to support hormone balance, so that's why it's a weird name, right?
Right, right,
So, yep. And I don't think people realize the hormone balance, it starts in the limbic system, it starts in the brain. And when things are not signaled right or they're not in sync with each other, then it's going to throw all your hormones off.
right. Okay,
Yep.
that makes sense.
Yep. Yep. And so I do this in combo. I have a combination that I make and to help people instead of having to buy everything separate. So if anybody's interested in that, let me know. But that's a wonderful thing. There's another thing that you can do. So oh, let's talk about senolytics. Okay. This is
Okay,
a senolytic is a type of either drug or herb molecule that's designed to target and kill senolytic cells. Excuse me, I can't even talk today. These senolytic cells are cells that are damaged and they're not functioning correctly. And they're often called zombie cells. So they're there, but they don't function. And so they're taking up space and they're disrupting things and they're causing inflammation, making you sick, causing brain fog, things like that. And when these cells come about, they just don't die. So what you need to do, they'll build up, and what you need to do is decrease those. And anyhow, so let's go along here. You got to clear these out. There's different ways to clear them out. And again, it's herbs. And one herb is quercetin, and the other one is feisting. And though I make these two as well, or you can buy the two over the counter if you want. And those two, what they do is they disconnect the lifeline, if you will, to the cell that's
okay,
not functioning anymore. And so then it just kind of dissipates. And then after it dissipates, you also want to clear out that dead cell from your bloodstream. A lot of people don't realize that either, because even when you get sick or have the flu or something like that, you end up with all kinds of dead cells in your bloodstream. And that's like why a cold or a flu or some type of sickness will drag on and on and on. And you feel like, oh, I'm never going to get over this. Well, there's something else that comes in play. It's called cleavers. And cleavers, what that does is it's a chelator, and it attracts these dead cells and gets a hold of them and then takes them out of your system, flushes them out of your
okay.
system. So
And I
that's
know that because I'm on now some pharmaceuticals, a lot, and a lot of other people are as well. How do people find out if what you're suggesting that they take interacts with medications? Like, is there a website? Is there a how do
yeah,
people find that
there's
out?
different there's just different websites that you can go to see the med herbal interactions, the
Okay,
negative interactions. And a lot of times, say you're taking something prescription for anxiety. Well, then they don't want you taking anything herbal for anxiety, because if you take something herbal for anxiety, the herbal remedy may tend to take over the one you're taking that's prescribed to you. So
okay,
it's like take one or the other. And then there's other, say, if you're on a blood thinner, you don't want to take white willow because that's a blood thinner, or
okay.
berberine, that's a blood thinner. Because a lot of this GLP-1 is a big thing for losing weight these days.
Mhm.
Well, if you're on a blood thinner, don't take it. Don't use
Right.
it. That kind of
And
thing.
and hopefully, fingers crossed, a doctor would know that or would know how to check it before prescribing it, but we'll just set that.
Unfortunately, they don't, because they're not trained
Yeah,
in it. They're not
right.
trained, and it's that plain and simple. And if they're not trained in it, well, it's not gonna Yeah, it's not going to be to their awareness as far
Right.
as what
So
goes.
it's up to us really to advocate for ourselves, and really your doctor isn't going to know, so ask a pharmacist basically.
Well,
Or
they might not even know either because
right.
they're not trained in herbs either. There's different sites, just people can Google interactions, drug interactions with whatever herb they want to take,
Okay.
and it'll bring it up, and you'll bring up different sites and you'll learn ones that are better. The ones that are better are the ones that are peer reviewed. You know,
Right.
yeah, because that's when I was in college, that's how I learned you can't publish a paper or write a paper for even schoolwork unless you have peer reviewed references with it. Meaning it's been tested, tried and true, that kind of thing.
Right.
It's
Right.
not just somebody saying, hey, because anybody can do that and that's dangerous.
Yeah.
Yep.
I know that I get one of my medications from a specialty pharmacy. Okay, so they're super trained in interactions and that sort of thing, and I have brought to them some that they're like, I've never heard of that, and there's nothing in the system about it.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Fireweed being one of them, by the way.
Oh, really? That's
Yeah,
interesting. Yeah, because
yeah,
yeah, that's interesting.
yeah,
Wow. 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 I'm glad that there is a pharmacy like that near you, and hopefully that'll progress and be more and more.
right.
So,
Well,
yeah.
it's more available, I think, to people with things like cancer.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah,
Awesome. Yeah, that's very much needed because yeah, there's a lot of herbs and things that don't interact well with cancerous situations and
right,
what's needed as far as pharmaceuticals and things. So,
right.
some of the foods that can help you to regulate your limbic system, your hypothalamus, your pituitary, and your adrenal glands are strawberries, apples, onions, capers. I love
Really,
capers. Oh,
me
yeah.
too.
Yep.
That's good
Kale.
news. Thank you.
Yeah. 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 We got kale and green tea. And all these things will help clear out the debris and then those zombie cells, if you will, that are causing issues in your system.
Awesome, awesome.
Yeah. Yay.
So how do you feel about, because a lot of us don't grow our own food and we are dependent on grocery stores to provide food. How do you feel about like any type of produce versus organic produce?
I would suggest organic just for the simple fact that there's so many things that are sprayed on top of like cucumbers and apples and things like that that are chemicals that get in your system and they build up and build up and build up. And those cause all kinds of issues with your organs, and
Okay.
that's not good. For example, okay, I can't eat cucumbers from the grocery store. They just about half kill me. I get inflamed. They give me a stomach ache. I get heartburn like crazy. But the cucumbers I grow, I can sit and eat two or three of them and they don't bother me. That's because there's a film that's sprayed on the outside of the cucumbers to keep them from rotting as quickly.
Okay.
And that's what you're eating.
Right. And even
Yep.
if you sometimes, you use the fruit wash or you
Yep.
wash off, it doesn't get everything.
No, no.
Okay.
But I mean, if you don't have access, if people don't have access, of course, yeah, use the fruit wash and scrub them as good as you can and then eat them, because that's what's needed. And a lot of times too, when things are canned, like fresh fruits and things are canned or frozen, those are flash frozen really, really quickly at the peak of their ripeness. And there's not a whole lot added to it, especially if they're frozen.
Okay.
So
So
that's
that's
another
good.
good choice.
Frozen is a good choice. Yeah. I'd heard that before where because they're flash frozen,
Hmm.
it seals in the nutrients
Hmm. Yep.
without the sprays. So,
Yes.
yeah.
Yep. you don't have all that in your system then. Yeah, because that causes so much havoc. I can't, I shouldn't bring it up, but I'm going to. Um, there's a technique that's come out and it's used in Sweden right now and a couple other countries too. And I shouldn't bring it up because I can't remember the name of it because this is something new I've been studying just in the last couple weeks. And
Okay.
it's a big long name. There's a lot to it. But it's basically like kidney therapy, when it cleanses the blood. So you hook up and they take the blood out of one side of you and it goes through this machine and it takes all the toxins out of your system from heavy metals to pesticides to you name it, and it puts it in this disposal bag, and you can literally look at this disposal bag and go ah and see all the stuff that's in there in your system. And then once your blood is cleaned, it's put back in your body just like dialysis does, but it's a different process, as far as
Okay.
to take these things out of your blood. And it's amazing. It's very costly right now, and the guy that's promoting it and talking about it, he's doing it for himself. He's a doctor, but it's amazing, and hopefully it should be in the States this year. So that would be great for people, to start doing if they know they've been exposed to a lot of, well, we all have there. I mean, it's in our food, it's in our clothes,
It's
it's
in the
everywhere.
air.
Yeah, yeah, yep, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
So, yep, and anyhow, I'm sorry I don't know the name of it, but it's not even in the US yet. So it'll be here soon. And he actually thinks that once it's here for a couple years, it will be turned into something that is more affordable so people can basically just make an appointment to have it done. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
yeah, and he even thinks that insurances might pay for it too, because that's something that will cover the cost of if so, what I mean? If somebody was sick, it costs a lot more.
Right.
It'd
Right.
weigh out. Yeah, weigh it out. So I'm excited about that one. I've been like, oh, what's going on? Yay! So
Yeah, I'm going to have to look that up. That sounds really interesting.
yeah, I'll send you we'll talk in a little while and I'll send you a link to it. And it's pretty neat. I
Okay.
like it. So, yay! I did want
Yeah.
to talk about some of the places that we hold our stress in our body.
Excellent.
Um, mhm. And one is the neck. Of course, a lot of people hold it in the neck area, at the
Mhm.
occiput area. And one of the good things, of course, gua sha is good for to all your fascia, to move all your fluids. And when we start talking about fascia, people need to understand that your fascia is that like white sinewy stuff that goes on the outside of the muscle, like you're cleaning a chicken or something, you see that white sinew. So that's on the outside of the muscle. But new findings are saying that your fascia that actually goes all through the muscle, and it carries a fluid in it, and that fluid has cells that have, of course, electrical charges that go throughout that muscle, throughout that tissue. So as you have muscle fascia work done, you're having this fluid moved. You're having it carries a lot of stuff into it, and as the fluid moves, it goes, it dumps toxins and things into your lymphatic system, because that's what your lymphatic system is for, and it moves
Right.
all that. Yeah, moves it through. And so when you do have gua sha done, this starts moving all this ick, if you will,
Mhm.
and to get it into the lymphatic system. Of course, drink plenty of water, things like that. Um, and okay, traction is a good one on your neck, but I go with a light traction, and I'm going to show you. I have a little tool that I use. I think I probably use it on YouTube.
You
um,
probably have.
yep,
Oh,
this
yeah,
is
yeah. Okay.
my cranium cradle. So when you use this for light traction on your neck, this part here goes at the base of your head. And you just lay there and let it lightly traction your head and pull out, pull all that up. But this is a multi tool for me, I've learned. and there's different ways you can use it. So other places that we store our stress is in the middle of our back by our scapula.
Mm-hmm.
And that type of stress is just like anger and anguish and things like that. It just builds up back there. This comes in because you can move it down in between your shoulder blades, or like this, down your spine, and have one of these on each side of your spine, and just lay there and let your spine relax into it. And it'll decrease that pressure. Then you can take it, move it this way, and put it on the side of your shoulder blade, and it'll pull that shoulder blade out. And then, but make sure you do, everything needs to be balanced. So like I've always said, one side will get jealous if you don't do the other side.
Yes. Yes.
Yep. So do both sides. And then as you work down your spine, because some people hold their stress in their stomach and their abdomen. And a lot of times, when it's in their abdomen, it's not necessarily the stomach alone, it's the mid part of the spine. And again, just keep moving this down your spine. And I would hold it for what, about 5 minutes if you can on there.
Okay.
Yep. Other
That
people
sounds lovely.
oh, it is. It's, and the thing about this is, see, it's not, because there's a lot of things out there for like psoas release and stuff like that, but they're all hard plastic. And I've done like the tennis balls and all that because I've had my own spinal issues, and I've gone through all kinds of PT to try to get things released, and your SI joint and all that, and and your psoas, even Ralphing. I've even tried the Ralphing, and oh my goodness, that's horrifying because it hurts so bad. But this, I've learned, you can, so if you have if you're holding stress in your lower back and your SI joint gets stuck, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
and you end up pinching nerves that go down your legs, um, just take this and put this part right here. Oh, it would go this way on your lower back where your SI joint is, and put these right by your SI joint, or just below your two little dimples back there, and
Okay.
just rock back and forth on it. And that'll get that SI joint moving. The sacrum. It gets that's what your SI joint is, your sacrum. And it'll get
Okay.
that, yeah, it'll get that moving in a nice gentle way where there's no shoving or heaving, or because that's some of the stuff that they do these days. It's like, oh no, ouch. This helps to also with the psoas muscle.
Mm-hmm.
So your psoas muscle goes from your back, or should say your hip area, and it connects over to your first rib. And so it
Okay.
connects the back to the front. And so it's just by the hip range area. I think I've released yours a couple times too with
Oh, you
it.
probably have. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And anyhow, so when that gets too tight or full of stress, or cortisol, you take this little guy and you put this just to it would be either hip, just to the inside of that hip, to in between the belly button and the hip. And you'll
Okay.
feel, yeah, so as if it's too tight, you'll feel a knot that runs up and down that like a rope almost. And
Okay.
you'll feel that. And it's, so when you do each side with this, and again, you put this part on the psoas and put up and down. Okay, so how can I do this? I only have two hands, and I'm like, how am I gonna do this? So you put this side towards your belly button, and then this side towards your hip. And you
Okay.
put it right in the middle, and you lay on your belly on it, and you just let it gently releases that psoas, and you do both sides. And
Okay.
when you feel that release, it's almost like tension goes down, and I can't even tell you how many different things happen when you release that psoas. Because psoas, it'll also cause a lot of anxiety, emotional issues, things like that, because it's a huge part of your function.
And where does someone get that device?
You just Google it. This is cranium cradle, and I got mine on Amazon, but just Google it, and there's a lot of sites that will sell it. So
Now, is that made out of foam or what is the?
yeah, it's like a hard foam.
Okay.
See, I'm squishing it.
Right. Right.
It
Okay.
squish it. It doesn't squish really easy, but it squishes.
Okay.
And this is the difference. That's the difference between all these hard things that people use to for what I was talking about, and these hard plastic things. Oh, it just digs in and it hurts and it separates the tissue and it sometimes causes more damage than what it's worth. But this is a soft, gentle way to do it.
Okay. Perfect.
Yep.
I wanted to just kind of check back a little bit on some of the words that you use that people might not know.
Okay.
Somatic. What is somatic exercise?
Somatic exercise is a light, gentle exercise that you do to help your energy balance and to release different muscles that need to get released in a nice, gentle way. So, say you lay on your back. Um, the quickest one I can think of is you lay on your back, slide your ankles up towards your bottom, and then keep your knees together, and then just gently go back and forth,
Side
back.
to side.
Yep, yep, yep. So, yep. And then you can also drop the knees down and do both that way,
Right.
up and down. You can slide the feet up and down towards you. There's Google Somatics, there's like hundreds of different ones that you can do, but it's a light, gentle thing that you can do when you're laying in bed before you go to sleep or when you wake up in the morning.
Yeah. I do the somatics. Not every day. Like I got out of the habit of doing it every day, but when I do it, it feels amazing.
Oh, yeah. I
It
love
feels
somatics.
amazing. It just chills me right out. Um, and then there were two other words, and I can't think of them. So let's just keep going. And if they pop up, I'll bring them up again.
Okay. One of the other areas that we hold our stress, there's I can't think of the name of the muscle, but there's a muscle that lines the inner lining of your hip, you know,
Okay.
bones, not the outer, but the inner. And that's it's just to the side of the psoas. And so people who do like a lot of desk jobs and things like that, you're stressing the psoas and this muscle out, and it tilts your hips forward. And I worked on a lot of people that have desk jobs, and when it tilts all that forward and it stresses the psoas and this other muscle out, it ends up giving them hip flexor issues, SI joint issues, all that, because it's all connected. And this again comes in handy because you take this and you put your hip bone right in between this, so it would be like this
Okay.
on and you lay down on it, and actually no, it'd be like this because you want to get it. It'd be like this because you want to get the inside muscle of that hip bone. So you put your hip bone in here and make sure this one side is on the inside, one side is on the outside, and you just lay there and let that relax, and it just melts you. At least me, it doesn't. I've seen many of my clients, they come in and they're full of anxiety and all this stuff's going on and and then you do that and they're like, ah.
Yeah. We hold so much in our bodies. Our bodies just hold on to so much stress and anxiety and worry and illness. And, it really is helpful to have these tips and tricks to release that because that way it doesn't develop into something more serious.
Exactly, because that's
Yeah.
where most diseases and issues come from.
Hmm.
Yep, that and toxins. And it's
Right.
just, oh, it's insane. We
Right.
can't get away from it. And I think back when I was a kid, and none of this, you didn't see the stuff we see today and how fluent it is, autism and just it's so much stuff. And it's crazy.
It is crazy. It is crazy. Just the rise in cancers, the
Oh,
rise in heart disease, the rise in,
absolutely.
you know, I mean, as a kid, I had ulcers,
Yeah.
so
Yep.
I think that that's still a pretty common thing. I just think that most people don't really talk about it anymore, just because there are so many medications now that people are on for it. But then your body becomes dependent on that medication and you never really resolve the issue.
No, and you don't. And also, if you're on, so one of the things that can be pharmaceuticals is prescribed is a pump inhibitor. And everybody, oh, it's great, I can eat what I want now, and da 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 with this pump inhibitor, excuse me, inhibitor. Um, what it does is it actually depletes the enzymes and the good bacteria from your stomach as it goes on, and yet that's how you end up dependent on it. Well, then you end up having all kinds of other gastrointestinal issues because you don't have the enzymes any longer, after quite some time I'd say about a year, then to actually digest your food. So then you're not getting the nutrients that you need, and then it's going to cause all kinds of other issues if you're not digesting your food correctly.
Right.
Yep. So then that's where enzymes come in, and you should take if you're on any kind of pump inhibitor, always take a multi-enzyme.
Okay. And
Yep.
most of these can be found either through naturopathic doctors, through
Online too. You can, yeah.
online.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Just
Okay.
Google multi-enzymes, and a lot of the prebiotics and probiotics that you can get these days include enzymes. There's enzymes in there. So, or you can just get them separate and chew them. I like to chew them.
Okay. All
Hmm.
right. That works. That works.
Yeah.
Wow. So, what else can we talk about today? We've got about 20 minutes left. So, what else is on your list of things that you want people to know?
Oh my goodness. So much. Uh, when we hold the different stresses in our bodies, um, what we don't realize is that, so our brain is like on an automatic run system, autopilot.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and the autopilot consists of everything that we've lived, everything that we've done, okay, in our life or experience, things like that. And our brain creates that autopilot, and it creates fill ins, if you will, sometimes in
Okay.
that autopilot. So, as we run on our autopilot and we've had all these stressors and all this stuff going on, our brain tends to stick with that. Our brain tends to bring us back to that autopilot, back to these stressors that are there. This is something that people should really, really, really be aware of,
Okay.
because it'll keep you in a loop. It'll keep you in a cycle that you don't even realize you're in, and your brain's doing it to you.
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Right.
Yep. And people do, oh, I do routine, and they do the same. You need to break, even if it's a little break away from that routine, or a little being very aware of how much your brain can be on autopilot. When you have thoughts or stress or anxiety coming through, stop and look at that. What is causing me this? Was I just thinking about? What did, you know,
Mm-hmm.
that is, your brain can do that to you. And then it also takes control and charge of your body. And so then you're going to, have all the shakies or upset stomach and things like that. So whenever there's something that causes you distress, stop, think about it, and go, what was I thinking about? What was I doing? Why did that happen? And if you go through the archives deep enough, or clear enough, you can
Mm-hmm.
go, oh my goodness, I didn't realize this was triggered because this happened in my, childhood. And you know what I mean? If I smelled this and it triggered me, that, you know what I mean? People
Right.
don't realize they're hidden triggers that can set off an autopilot that's been in their brain for years, decades maybe.
Wow. Okay.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, that really makes a lot of sense. I mean, that's really what I'm hearing is burnout.
Oh, yeah.
It
Yeah.
causes overtime burnout where
Big-
you just have to let it crash, basically. And
Yeah. Let it crash and deny it. I mean, okay, one of the best things that, you know, if I have a client that comes through and they're like constant stress and constant things going on, and they can't get away from it, and that's all they talk about. And I'll go, wait a minute. So that's a lot of stress right there. And you just, acknowledged all of that, and you just brought all of that into your life, into present being. And so you destroyed whatever peace you could have at this moment. So when these thoughts go through your head, or they come up, what I told them to do is acknowledge that thought, say, yes, I know you're there. I see you, but I'm doing something else, and figure out a positive solution for that, or just no solution at all, and let it move on like a river flows through your
Okay.
brain. These thoughts are rivers, and they flow through, and they just keep coming. Pick and choose which ones are allowed to flow through your brain. And when you do that little bits at a time at first, after a while, you get really good at it,
Mhm.
and it spits. Then you're like, even the big things that used to bother you don't bother you anymore,
Right.
because
Right.
at least you're acknowledging it. But you're going, I don't need you, I don't need this, and move on. Eviction notice.
That's excellent. Excellent. Um, uh-oh, Teresa, are you there?
Oh, yep.
We lost your picture.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. What happened?
I don't know. We lost your picture, but we can still hear your voice, so we can keep going.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
so another thing that I wanted to bring up is the importance of rest, because I think that we live in a society that rewards not resting. It rewards constant flow, constant movement, constant striving. And the importance of rest, I think, is something that has been really brought home to me. Um, since my diagnosis last year, I have spent the last 10 months really resting, resisting it a lot, especially in the beginning, but really resting and realizing that I was on fast forward grind for decades and looking at what that's done to my body. The other thing is you can't rest 100% of the time. Oh, we got you back. Um,
Wow. Okay. Hi.
hi. Uh, Resting 100% of the time is also not good, long term. There has to be balance. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about rest and what rest can do for our bodies.
Yeah, rest. Oh my goodness, that's a total reset. And especially if you're not fighting it. And I'm a huge one. I fought rest forever.
Yeah,
You know,
we
yeah,
definitely have that in common.
yeah, we do. I mean, forever. And I look back, and I as I got older, I was more decent to myself, lighter on myself, where it's like, no, if you need to rest, rest, and I'd not lay there and just go, oh, but you should be doing, you know what I mean? Thinking about all the stuff I could be doing or should be doing,
Right,
that
exactly.
kind of thing. You need to allow yourself that. And there's no badge in, you know, constantly running and doing, and uh, it shouldn't be that's everybody has these badges of overdoing, and it
Right,
should. That's where a lot of stress comes in, just because you're not giving yourself a break. Embrace yourself, learn to fall in love with yourself, treat yourself like you would treat somebody else. And if you when you get the appropriate amount of rest, which is different for each person.
mhm,
Everybody has different chemistry and stuff like that. But logically, when you get the appropriate amount of rest, it's very rejuvenating. And it won't be if you're beating yourself up for it.
that's
If you're,
true.
yep. So again, that
Yeah,
comes there, the little river of thoughts that flow through your brain. If you're beating yourself up for getting some rest, let that flow on by. Say,
right,
yeah, I see you, but you know what? No, this is my rest time. I'm gonna rest. I'm gonna take it easy. That's it. I mean, and even, everybody's different in their schedules and things. And I was one, I would never turn anybody down, and I was on like 24/7, and helping this person and that person, or working, when I was younger, oh my goodness, I worked like 3 and 4 jobs at a time,
Mhm.
that kind of thing. It just because it was me, and that's, just go, go, go. Um, when you break that cycle and break that habit, it's a total different thing. You learn to, it's okay to say no. It's okay to go, okay, well, this is my time for me. Like, even with what I do now, I wouldn't turn anybody down because I don't want anybody to hurting. I don't, it hurts me. You know what I mean? I'm like,
Right.
no, I'll help you. But I did have to learn to say, okay, no, you can come this time or this time. And I learned to make certain, like, morning time, I either take care of orders or I take care of things I need to take care around the household, that kind of thing. And I don't usually start diving into, say, clients coming in or other things, foraging, until at least noon, right around in there. And I only go until like 4:30, just depending on if somebody absolutely is driving a long ways to see me and that kind of thing, I'll do it. You know what I mean? I'll work on the weekends, or I'll take them in, and help them. But I made those boundaries for my health, for me, to be able to take care of myself, because nobody else is going to. So, you got to remember that. You got to take care of
Right.
yourself. Mm-hmm.
We are 100% responsible for ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I
And
do.
I just wanted to throw in there that rest and sleep are not necessarily the same thing, but they're both important.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rest. I mean, you can, as far as rest, you can take 10 minutes even. You know what I mean? To sit down and go, okay, I need to regroup and just rest. Because I know, foraging is such a rejuvenating thing for me. And
Mhm.
that went away from me for quite a few years, actually, about 3 years or so, because I got so busy, with things here and with clients coming through and all that. And I had to realize, no, that's for me. So actually foraging is my rest. You know what I mean? So
Right,
there's
right.
different forms of rest. So, one person may like to sit down in a chair and rock and read. And, me, I like to just wander the forest.
Yeah. So let's talk about foraging because I've been foraging with
Ah.
you. And it was like, wow, this is a lot of knowledge that you have to go out into the woods and gather medicines or foods, you know? Um, let's talk about foraging because I know it brings you so much joy,
It
and
does.
it really confused me
Oh, no, no,
'cause
no.
I had no idea what I should have been looking for.
Ah.
Like, I was just like, "Okay, I'm just gonna follow Teresa, and I'll go talk to Bigfoot while she's foraging." So let's so let's talk about foraging, like, how did you learn foraging, and what exactly is it, and what do you need to know to
Ah.
forage?
Foraging is, you go into the woods in different areas. Up here, we have microclimates, and so there's different things that are living in different areas, according to what they like. And so I just go into different areas in the woods and I find different plants. I use either, like, in the springtime, you go foraging, you get a bark or a root, that kind of thing, or even in the fall is your barks and your roots, because the energy of the plant is in the bark or the root in the spring or in the fall. Through the summer, what I forage is the leaves and the flowers and things like that, because all the energy is in the leaves or the flowers at that
Okay.
point in time. Um, when you gather things, you should look up and make sure that you're gathering the right parts of the plant, because some of the
Oh, we lost her again. This time, I think that we lost her completely, but while we are getting Teresa back,
Hey, she's still there somehow, but I'm not sure what happened, but she
I'm
should be
not
back
sure
in a
what
second.
happened either. Well, in
Yeah,
the meantime, would you
yeah.
like to pop up the Wicked Wednesday ad?
I don't
Post
actually
it?
have the whole thing, unfortunately,
Okay.
but I will tell you that tonight, just to make sure that I have this right, I'm going to look at the poster on my phone. I wasn't really thinking.
Okay.
Tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern, we got Paranormal Unveiled with myself, Nathaniel Elwell. Morgan Caldwell is coming in to co-host, and we've got Brandon Kramer. That's going to be that. Then Jeremy Cotter's Twisted Tales tonight at 9:30 Eastern. I always have to specify.
Sure.
He has got, and let me make sure I got this group. He's got a group of ladies. So that should be interesting. And they are called the Ghost Watchers Project. Yeah, so that's going to be interesting. So yeah, that's the rest of our Wicked Wednesday. Of course, we started off here. We do have some viewers, but Kristina has a lot of folks that come back later. So if you come back later and it happens to be where you can go and watch these boys too, well, come on and join us. And yeah, Wicked Wednesday, as always, is great. And I see Teresa trying to connect. Teresa, can you hear us? If you can hear me, go out and come back in.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a technical glitch here.
Yeah, I tell her I'm gonna pop you out of the thing, and you'll have to come back in. That sometimes I don't. So, all right.
Yeah, hopefully she can hear you.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. As Kristina knows, I'm having a morning with a couple things, but yeah, I was trying to listen and about the cortisol and stuff, and yeah, that is very true because I've had issues with that. I used to be a medic, and I was so stressed that I definitely could tell when I got to where I could relax a little more.
Right.
So that's a real thing. That's an actual real thing.
It is. And like I was saying, the last 9-10 months of my life where I have been forced into rest because of an illness, it took me that long. And in fact, it's only just been a couple of weeks where I'm like, okay, I'm ready to start joining life again. Like I finally reserved enough energy where I can, start putting myself out there again. And I didn't realize how much years and years and years of going full blast drained my energy.
Absolutely. Think about it. I was in the road for 3 big weekends, and I would basically come home, wash clothes, spend a day sleeping, and then go back out. And those 3 weeks wiped me out more than the whole 3.5 months I was on the road last year.
Isn't it amazing?
It's crazy how that wiped me out.
It really, really is. It doesn't look like we're getting Teresa back, but I really want to thank Teresa. You can find her on Facebook, Teresa Randolph, Randolph. So Teresa
I did send her a message telling her to come back in, but sometimes we have glitches. If she can, cool.
Right.
If not, yeah, she was great. It was a great show, Kristina. And you've got some stuff coming up. I know you got one thing, but don't you have like 3 or 4 things in the next few months?
I do. I don't have my calendar with me right now, but every weekend in October I'm booked somewhere. So I do know that I have the Rhode Island Rock House Esoteric Expo coming up, and that's on October 3rd. And I don't remember the rest of them. I know I have a private event on the 17th of October. I do have those 2 events in September where I've got the
there she is. Here we go.
Oh, there she is. Okay,
Yes,
so
weird.
yeah, it's okay. On September 11th through the 13th, I will be in Berlin, Wisconsin at the Great Lakes Paranormal Expo. And then I will be in Johnstown, Pennsylvania. I believe it's the 26th, I don't even know if that's the right day. But that weekend, I will be in Johnstown, Pennsylvania, and either going to or coming from, I will be stopping in Sharon, Pennsylvania at the tattoo shop that I go to do readings. So
when I was with you at,
yeah. It's where I got my tattoo last year or earlier this year. So, and it's, I'm so sorry, Sarah. I don't remember the name, but it's in Sharon, Pennsylvania, and it is a metaphysical shop and tattoo and piercing parlor. So I will be stopping there, either going to Johnstown, Pennsylvania, or coming from Johnstown, Pennsylvania. So I'll be doing readings there on my way. So anyway, that's what I've got going on. And Teresa, welcome back. Thank you for coming back on. We appreciate that. I don't know what happened. We had a tech glitch. It happens.
It does.
So where were we? We were talking about foraging, right?
Yeah. Yeah. There's different times of years to gather different things. And um, I always take my little baskets and bags and buckets out with me to forage for different things. And I take baskets for mushrooms because, of course, when you forage for mushrooms, you want the spores to go throughout the forest floor. So you're kind of seeding the forest floor if you have a basket. A lot of people use bags, but those mush your mushrooms. I like a basket so that my mushrooms don't get mushed.
Yeah, it
No mushies.
definitely just, not all mushrooms are edible. So make sure you do your research before you go foraging for mushrooms.
Absolutely.
You know,
Got that right.
you don't want
Oh,
you don't want to get a hold of one of those where you get to enjoy once,
yep. Yep. And usually those kind don't taste very good anyhow. They're very,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, yep. Um, Foraging is, oh my goodness. There's a lot to it as far as knowing, different plants and when to get them and that kind of thing. And when you do know when to get them, it's easier. And I've done it since I was like 2. I started with my grandpa, and he was full-blooded Blackfoot Indian, and I would go out with him, and he'd, you know, I can't remember the different names that he would call things, unfortunately, because I was probably about 9 or 10 when he passed away.
Okay.
Yeah, so now I know more of the botanical names and stuff, or common names too, of different things. But I do remember, Grandpa pointing different things out and going, "Oh, this is, like plantain." He used to always, he said it differently. Plantain, if you find that there's longleaf and broadleaf plantain, and that will, you pick it and you get the juices flowing in it by either chewing it or mushing it between your fingers, and then you put it on whatever wound you have and it'll kill the pain and help it out. So but I tell my grandkids, I say, plantain kills the pain, pick it, chew it, stick it.
There you go. And I know it works because I've used it like on mosquito bites and
It does,
bee
yeah.
stings and that sort of thing. Yeah. But of course, whatever you're going to forage is going to depend on where you live, because
Yes,
different plants in different areas, obviously. So,
absolutely.
wherever you are, you're going to need to do some research on what's available in your area and where you can legally pick it.
Yes, yes, that's another thing, because I have a plat book, and I always, my rule of thumb is if I have a plat book, and if there's something in the area that I think might be in that area, I go knock on a door and go,
Right.
"Hey, this is who I am, blah, blah, blah." I give them a card, and, usually I have, that opens the doors,
Mm.
and people are fine with it. So, never enter a property that you don't know who's owns it or whatnot, that kind
Right.
of thing. But there's a lot of public land up here, which I'm fortunate to be able to wander and meander through all day. And so, yay. Did we find, because I was just out to the little spot where you were talking to Bigfoot
Mhm.
the other day, and I can't remember if you and we found mushrooms that day, didn't we?
I believe so. Yeah.
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 Yeah, that was a nice day. That was,
Yeah.
yeah,
I
beautiful.
I I would be the one accidentally unaliving myself because I don't know one mushroom from another, so I would have to
Well,
be very, very careful and go with you or someone else I know who forages.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
you do. You got to be careful with those. My grandfather used to tell me, as far as about mushrooms, being careful. All the brown mushrooms, he told me, just to, when I was little, just leave them alone, because there's too many micro differences in between ones that are toxic and ones that are not toxic. And so to this day, I'm kind of like, it's brown, leave it alone.
yeah. Good rule of thumb there.
Yeah.
So if someone wants to spend some time with you, either on the phone or in person, do an appointment with you, what is the best way to get a hold of you?
You can get a hold of me through Facebook me, or my phone number is 906-231-1706. And you can text me,
Okay.
and we can set something up.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. Teresa, I want to thank you so much. You are, as always, have been a wonderful guest, so full of knowledge and wisdom and everything to share with us. And eventually, I'm going to get back up there and see you again. It's just, I'm not sure when.
Yeah, that's
But
okay.
yeah,
Life
it's
happens.
well, she's in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. If you've not been there, I strongly suggest going. There are so many beautiful things up there and so many beautiful people. And I have you on one side and I've got Gail on the other. So life is good. Life is good for me. No matter where I go, I got somebody. So, but thank you again so much for being such a wonderful guest and all of your knowledge and being willing to share that wisdom with us. And I will see everyone next week on Wednesday morning.
All right.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.